Needed was a better word. To get laid. I knew I was hard up when I was lusting after someone like Max. Someone I hated. Someone who hated me.
Max. Fleur Marceaux's eyes bored into me like two lasers shooting at my back. Half the time I expected that when I turned around I'd find a dagger there. The other half, I thought of long, straight light brown hair and deep brown eyes, ballerina-like legs, tanned skin, and more attitude than one man could ever handle or want. I wasn't sure if it was a French thing or a Fleur thing, but either way, she took high maintenance to new levels. I turned in my seat slightly, just able to make out the curve of her jaw and her soft pink lips. Because I was weak, I allowed my gaze to dip down to take in the rest of perfection. Even at a school like the International School, where most of the student body bathed themselves in designer labels and over-the-top outfits, Fleur took the cake. I'd been around her enough last year when she dated my best friend, George, before she put his heart in a blender and hit liquefy, to know that the only way to manage Fleur was to not let her mind-fuck you into submission. She always had the upper hand, so I made a point of taking it from her, because I liked it, and even more, because I liked the way it teased out a little line between her brows. The girl who glided through life looked annoyed now, and as much as I shouldn't have cared, her reaction did things to me. So I looked. A lot. She was wearing a dress today. I had no idea what the color was, something between red and orange that clung to every inch of her body. The neckline dipped low, framing mouth-watering cleavage. She wasn't curvy, and her breasts were smaller than average, her ass the same. But when her hips moved as she strutted down the halls, I'd always found myself unable to tear my gaze away. I'd hated her for 3 years, been in lust with her since the first day I bumped into her in the hall freshman year. Total mindfuck. She glared back at me, her lips slanting into a hard line, and I met her gaze with a smug satisfaction I didn't completely feel. I never felt satisfied around Fleur, just needy and edgy and wanting more. It made the game of chicken we constantly played with each other that much more difficult to win. Impossible, really. I turned in my seat, adjusting my jeans, struggling to concentrate on the professor at the front of the room and not the girl behind me. It was my senior year of college, just weeks before I started the long process of going through rounds of interviews for my dream job. Some companies began hiring in the fall of your senior year. I'd been waiting for this moment forever, and now it was here, and it was terrifying. I heard my father's voice in my head. "What do you need with that fancy education? You think you're too good for home now? You just wait. You'll come home and end up working with your brothers at the bar." I tried to block it out, block out the doubt and the fear that he was right, that I couldn't do this. I was applying to some of the best investment banks in London, one of the most competitive cities in the world. My academic record had to be perfect. 80% of your grade in this class will be a team project you'll work on for the entire semester, our professor announced from the front of the room. The project will involve you financing a business venture. I'll give you the parameters, and you'll have to work within those guidelines to create a successful business. You'll be graded on a variety of factors, including how well you work together, the overall quality of your project, a written paper, and a presentation before the International Business faculty at the end of the semester. You can see how the individual components will be weighed on page 4 of the syllabus. I thumbed through the pages, unable to ignore the feeling that Fleur was watching me again. Didn't she care about her grades at all? Rumor had it that her father was filthy rich, but what the hell was she going to do after graduation? Live off daddy? Did she even care about her education? Or was college just a series of parties for her? The International School was a good school, but it also attracted a certain type of student. Some, like me, were on scholarship and had taken out student loans.